Welcome, 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 ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between. Jackie's got a sports show, and you are tuning in to that very sports show live on TikTok. For those of you on TikTok, I appreciate you being live. I'll try to answer questions whenever. What's good, Emmanuel? So today, we don't really have anything major. Nothing major really happened. So we're going to talk some Justin Jefferson contract. We're going to talk some landing spot. What? Talk some landing spots for Derrick Henry, maybe Justin Fields. And then we'll end it with talking about the NBA All-Star game because everybody's obsessing on how to fix the NBA All-Star game. I hope you're doing good, Emmanuel. I'm happy you accepted the invite to the podcast. And we'll talk about that later. So let's talk Justin Jefferson. So Mike Florio, if that's how you say his name, Pro Football Talk, believes the sticking point for Vikings ownership being that the Minnesota Vikings have not yet given Justin Jefferson a contract, or at the very least have not agreed on a contract for Justin Jefferson to come back. The sticking point for them, the one they will not budge on, is guaranteeing money outside of 1 year. They won't do it for a non-quarterback. This theory is that the Vikings owner has a rule against including full guarantees on future years. The only thing they made an exception for is Kirk Cousins, and that's because quarterback. And even then, fully guaranteed money to Kirk Cousins is going to make you a little hesitant to give any guaranteed money left. Kirk Cousins is fine, but Kirk Cousins is not the guy that's going to take you anywhere. I appreciate the roses, Manuel. Thank you. I feel very loved. That sounded way more sarcastic than I wanted it to sound. Now, Justin Jefferson came up with a quote talking about his contract early in the month, saying, "I feel like eventually the Vikings will do what they need to do to have me in the building, but I don't really know at this moment. Only time will tell." Now, yes, you want to do everything you can to keep Justin Jefferson in the building. I wish more players would be of the mindset, hey, I will take less money so that you can put better players around me. I wish everybody had that Tom Brady mindset, but the facts are the facts. Justin Jefferson deserves to be paid the most money out of any receiver. Ever is a big stretch, but he's the best receiver in the league right now. The Vikings offense is nothing without him. Absolutely. Yeah, you got TJ Hawkinson, but outside of Justin Jefferson in that wide receiving core, you're going to believe in KJ Osborne? Are you? In the backfield, Dalvin Cook left, and you have no running game. Alexander Mattison gets a lot of hate. I think he's fine, but he's definitely nothing you want to build that running game off of. You need Justin Jefferson in the building as a very foundational piece, as a corner piece in that organization. You can't afford to lose him. So if I'm the Vikings, I'm giving the money to him. I'm giving the money he wants. Is it a tough pill to swallow giving a receiver that much money? Absolutely. But it's Justin Jefferson. And Justin Jefferson changes the dynamic of your offense entirely. Right? It's a hard pill to swallow, especially when the Vikings really need a quarterback, and are sitting in a place in the draft in which there's not a lot of top tier guys. Maybe JJ McCarthy falls to you. Maybe Michael Penix Jr. falls to you, but you're not getting someone like a Jane Daniels. You're not getting Drake May. You're not getting Caleb Williams. Vikings could just trade JJ for the number one pick. Yeah. The Bears would probably do that. Would they do that straight up? I don't know. Especially if, that's actually interesting. Fanatic Sport, go show him some love on TikTok. Because the Bears are listening to trade talks for Justin Fields. Could the Vikings send Justin Jefferson to the Bears for number one pick and Justin Fields? I don't think they'll do that straight up because that is a lot for Justin Jefferson. So maybe the Bears will be asking for maybe a second, maybe a third as well in that deal. But it's a very interesting thing to think about. I hate, by the way, TikTok live just showing up like, "Hey, do you want to join this person's live?" No. No, leave me alone. But yeah, that's a very interesting little thought experiment. Of course, we're going to get into the possible landing spots for Justin Fields coming up in just a second. But let me know what y'all think about the Justin Jefferson thing. Should the Vikings pay him? Should the Vikings look to move off of him? I think the Vikings are in a spot to where they definitely need to rebuild. Is Justin Jefferson patient enough for that? Of course, he's young, still got a lot of years in that tank. But is Justin Jefferson really going to wait around so that the Vikings might build a great team around him? They got a lot of holes to fill. They got a lot of old guys. They got a lot of stuff to work on. I believe they got the coaching staff, but outside of the coaching staff, there's a lot they need to fix. Foundationally, there's a lot they need to fix. So let's talk Derrick Henry. I have to talk Derrick Henry, being a Titans fan. Derrick Henry is most likely going to be on the move. The Titans are moving to an offense that is going to move away from Derrick Henry. Um, yeah, they're building an offense that isn't going to utilize Derrick Henry to the fullest extent. Of course, they could always keep him around. Derrick Henry wants to retire in the two-tone blue. I guess the Titans are the first team we're talking about. Do the Titans re-sign Derrick Henry? He loves Tyjae Spears. Everything I know, Tyjae Spears, for those who don't know, Tyjae Spears is the running back of the future for the Tennessee Titans. He is so good. If you don't want to spend the time looking at film and watching him, go to YouTube, just look up Tyjae Spears highlights. This dude is insane. So Derrick Henry loves Tyjae Spears, loves being in that backfield with him. Does he care about money enough, and does that trump his need? I want to say it's a need because I want to be biased here and say the Titans re-sign him, but it's not really a need. But he has expressed openly that he wants to retire a Tennessee Titan. But he's got a couple years left. He was a great running back this past season behind a terrible offensive line. So you give him a good offensive line in front of him, he can be very, very productive. So let's talk about some teams that are in talks. And we're going to go from the teams I don't think really make sense to the teams that honestly I would pick. So first, we're going to talk about the Eagles. The Eagles, yes, have built their team around the run game. Yes, have made a habit in having Tennessee be their little farm for the past couple of years. I'm thinking, KB. I'm thinking Zach Cunningham. I'm thinking AJ Brown, obviously. But throwing Andre Dillard on us and taking Dennis Kelly away from us, outside of that, it doesn't really make sense. The Eagles don't run an offense that would use Derrick Henry how Derrick Henry should be used, if that makes sense. A lot of people want to say Derrick Henry needs to be put in this run-centric offense. Absolutely, but he can't be in a run-centric offense that uses four different running backs like the Eagles. The Eagles use DeAndre Swift. The Eagles use Kenneth Gainwell. And back in the day, it was Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott. They use several different guys. Derrick Henry needs 25 carries to be productive on the ground. And while his catching ability has always been underrated, in my opinion, even though you go look it up and he's dropping everything that's thrown at him, in my opinion, as a biased Titans fan, if you want to take it like that, Derrick Henry's receiving ability has always been underrated. He needs 20 plus touches a game. And the Eagles, with their running back committee style of offense, and even then, Nick Sirianni has sat down and said that they want to push this offense forward. I don't see the fit with Derrick Henry in Philadelphia. Just like I don't see the fit in Houston. Houston, while it's coming out that Houston wants to make a more balanced dynamic offense, it's still going to be CJ Stroud and Nico Collins, CJ Stroud and Tank Adell, CJ Stroud and Dalton Schultz. That's going to be the offense. Oh. Well, yes, they are going to run the ball. and you need a run game, Derrick Henry is not the answer. You could look at maybe some cap casualties with, or you could try to re-sign Devin Singletary because he was good. Damian Pierce was good a year ago. I didn't see a lot of him last season. Maybe he regressed a little bit. Texans fans will have to let me know about that. But Derrick Henry, first off, it's a division rival. Derrick Henry's not going to a division rival. So let's just get that out of the way. I don't see the fit. I don't see the fit. Yes, you want a more balanced attack, but it's still going to lean heavily towards that passing attack because CJ Stroud is so good. CJ Stroud is so good. It pisses me off about how good CJ Stroud is. And your offense is going to run through him. If your offense does not majorly involve Derrick Henry, the fit is not good. Next, we got the Cowboys. Derrick Henry is becoming a free agent. His contract is up, so there's no trading for him. If the Titans don't re-sign him, yeah, that's a lot of words. That's a lot of words. That's a lot of dancing. But to answer your question, yeah, Derrick Henry is a free agent. But the next team that's being talked about is the Cowboys, because the Cowboys have felt the sting of letting Zeke go and trying to make Tony Pollard their lead back, and that just didn't work. And it's the same kind of thing with the Texans. That offense is always going to run through Dak. Now, maybe the Cowboys want to take a lot of that load, a lot of that pressure off of Dak. But as I said with the Texans, the offense that Derrick Henry needs to be in, Derrick Henry needs a major part in the game plan every single week to be productive for you. And is that going to be the case with the Dallas Cowboys? No. That offense is Dak Prescott, as I said with the Texans, or like the Texans. It's Dak Prescott to CeeDee Lamb. It's Dak Prescott to Michael Gallup. It's Dak Prescott to Brandon Cooks. It's Dak Prescott to whichever tight end that they're throwing to that week. Derrick Henry's not going to be a major piece in that offense. And because he's not going to be a major piece in that offense, he's not going to be productive for you. As I've said multiple times, Derrick Henry needs 20 plus carries to be effective, to be productive. Not 20 plus carries, 20 plus touches, point blank period. And he's not going to get that in the Cowboys offense. Now, the two teams that I really think make the most sense. First, we're going to go to the Buffalo Bills. Now, you may say, Jack, you were just talking about how the Cowboys offense runs through the passing game. The Texans offense runs through the passing game, even though they're going to try to make running a major role or a bigger role, still going to run through the passing game. Isn't that the same with the Bills? Absolutely. But the Buffalo Bills really need to get off Josh Allen, right? The Cowboys don't have that problem with Dak. The Texans don't have that problem with Stroud yet. The Bills really want a balanced attack with Josh Allen. And because they really want a balanced attack, I feel like they're going to give Derrick Henry what Derrick Henry needs. Derrick Henry to the Buffalo Bills makes the most sense. Plus, up there in Buffalo, it's cold. That big ass 6'2", 220 frame that Derrick Henry has. Not going to be fun to tackle up there in Buffalo. You really need to want to take the pressure off Josh Allen in a major way. How you do that is you go get a guy like Derrick Henry, in which you can make Derrick Henry a major point in that offense and have Josh Allen still be Josh Allen, but you run the offense through Derrick Henry. That takes a lot of weight off of Josh Allen's shoulders. All that weight that he's been dealing with that has made him look like a turnover machine, that has made him falter, that has made the Buffalo Bills not be able to make it past the divisional round, or at the very least, not make it past the Chiefs. I think the Bills make a lot of sense for Derrick Henry to go to. But the team that makes the absolute most sense, you could have already guessed it, the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Baltimore Ravens, are similar to the Eagles in a way. It's just they run the ball a lot better and they use only one back a lot more. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson in a run centric offense would be absolutely disgusting. Now, I know it wouldn't be a prime Derrick Henry. I said he played very good this past season, and he did, but it was still him taking a bit of a step back. But in the Baltimore Ravens offense, with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson's running ability being the focus of that offense, it's going to be very hard to stop. It's going to be very, very hard to stop. And it is really the ultimate. And I know this is cheesy. I know this has been used for several different backfields over several different decades, but smash and dash. You have Derrick Henry running through you, putting his head down, putting his shoulder down, being hard to tackle in general, running over everybody. And then you have to have those same guys try to catch Lamar Jackson. It is going to wear you out. And 7, 8-man boxes is going to be a necessity when it comes to playing the Baltimore Ravens for Lamar Jackson and for Derrick Henry. And that's going to open up Zay Jones and Mark Andrews and whatever rinky-dink wide receiver that they want to put out there this year in Baltimore. I think Derrick Henry makes a lot of sense for the Baltimore Ravens. So honestly, if Derrick Henry, ranking these 5 teams, if the Titans were not to sign Derrick Henry, I think it'd make the most sense for him to go to the Ravens or the Bills. I can't really see him going to the Texans, Cowboys, or Eagles. So now let's talk another guy that is in a lot of trade talks, and let's talk the teams that seem to be the most interested in him. The Atlanta Falcons, Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers coming across made me very interested. Of course, we all know Kenny Pickett, not that guy. Kenny Pickett. I like to give quarterbacks at least 3 seasons, but it's been 2. And yes, he had to deal with a Matt Canada offense that was very barbaric. Barbaric is a wild word to say, but very ancient and just not a great offensive coordinator. So I kind of want to give him a year with Arthur Smith to see what they can actually do in Pittsburgh with Kenny Pickett. But Pittsburgh seems to not really like Kenny Pickett. And like I said, you can't really blame them. He hasn't really shown anything tremendous. He's shown that he could be a fine NFL quarterback. If Kenny Pickett is not the starter anymore in Pittsburgh, it's not like his career's over. He'll make a solid living being a backup. But Justin Fields in Pittsburgh, does that feel right? Does that feel right when it comes to utilizing Justin Fields as a player? Like, we're about to talk about an offense in which I think can do that. But for the Steelers, I think you want a guy who can throw the ball a lot better than Justin Fields can. Justin Fields can throw the ball. I don't want Bears fans and Justin Fields fans to get on me. Justin Fields can throw the ball. It's just consistently, you don't really trust him. He's just a step below Lamar Jackson in total ability. You know what I mean? I think that's a fair assessment. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, with the weapons they have on the outside, I mean, yeah, Justin Fields and Jaylen Warren in the backfield, and then rolling out and tossing it to Pickens or tossing it to Deontay or tossing it to the Monk, who's at the tight end position. Pat Fryermuth is a Monk name. Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't really know. And that's really the same for Las Vegas. Like, yeah, the Las Vegas Raiders would be getting a quarterback that is very dynamic, could make your offense very, very, very dynamic, but I just don't love it. I just don't love Justin Fields in Las Vegas. But I do love Justin Fields in Atlanta. Atlanta has the setup to have an offense that is sort of like the Tennessee Titans back in the day. Massive run game, and your passing attack is led by your tight end with solid receivers on the outside. You have Bijan, who would have been Rookie of the Year. Well, maybe. He would have been much, much more close to Puka and to CJ Stroud had Arthur Smith actually used him. But Justin Fields, with B. John Robinson in the backfield, with Kyle Pitts at a tight end, and Jonnu Smith. Don't forget about Jonnu Smith. Don't hate on Jonnu Smith. And then on the outside, you have Mac Hollins and Drake London, a couple more guys. That's very exciting to me. That offense feels like it is built for a guy like Justin Fields. So, in terms of Justin Fields' fit, where I think Justin Fields would be the best, where the fit would be the best, it's the Atlanta Falcons. I don't see the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't see the Las Vegas Raiders. I see the Atlanta Falcons being the best possible fit for Justin Fields. But of course, let me know where y'all think the best fit for Justin Fields and Derrick Henry would be. All the socials are in the description, and I will say them at the end of the episode. So let's move off of football. Let's talk some basketball. All-Star Weekend was this weekend. We had the dunk contest that everybody loves to bitch about. We had the three-point contest between Sabrina. I believe her name's Sabrina. Not going to try to pronounce her last name. And Curry. Of course, Steph Curry won. And Damian Lillard won the three-point contest as like a whole. And then I think Mac McClung, however you say his name, that G Leaguer won the dunk contest. Didn't keep up with the skills competition. And the All-Star game was just guys having a shoot around, basically. But this weekend sparked the debate talking about how can we possibly fix NBA All-Star Weekend, or at the very least, the NBA All-Star Game. And I found this this article by my guy Stephen No, on writer for the Sporting News. And this headline was, that'd be embarrassing. Losing team gets their IG DMs leaked. A lot of guys, that's how you get a lot of guys suspended, because they're going to be fighting NBA officials. Or we could take it back, 500 years ago, and the losing team gets, killed, like in the Aztecs. But I think that's just a little too dark. But 5 ideas to fix All-Star Weekend. And the first one that he proposes is raise the reward to winning the game. Currently, the pot of gold that NBA players get to split around them is $100,000. The loser getting $25,000. The loser getting a quarter of the winner's money is kind of fucked up. It's kind of fucked up. But I think so. He bases this around the fact that $500,000 is what you get for winning the NBA Cup, and it seemed like a lot of guys were playing the NBA Cup really, really hard. The guys really, really cared about winning the NBA Cup. Is that because of the $500,000 reward? I don't know. Would 500,000, 400 grand raise, would that make the guys play harder and play competitively in the All-Star game? I don't know, because I don't think money is the foundation of the issues with the All-Star game. One of the issues that I feel like is guys want to rest. Guys don't want to get injured during an All-Star game. And he addresses that in this next point. Move the game to the end of the year to keep the guys from worrying about injuries. There's also a problem I have with this. In the NFL, a lot of guys skip out on the Pro Bowl because they don't want to get injured, because they're about to start their rehabbing process from the season prior, and they're about to get into their process for the season coming up, right? That is part of the reason why they never play in the Pro Bowl, or all the big guys never play in the Pro Bowl. Moving the All-Star game to, I guess you would be putting this after the NBA Finals. It doesn't make me feel, or doesn't make me think that the guys are going to play in it any more than they already do. Because at the end of the season, it's not a whole lot of time between the NBA Finals and the tip-off of the NBA season. It's not a lot of time. So a lot of guys are already in their rehab process. A lot of guys are are already starting the process of training and being ready for the next season. So, no, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think it would take away the worry of guys getting hurt. I don't think it'll make the guys play better. Home court advantage in the finals, do you mean like guys on the winning team for a team that yeah, but that would make kind of the regular season like diminish the importance of playing well in the regular season a little bit if home court advantage in the finals just go to the players who won the All-Star game. I don't know about that. Another point, but to cap off that point, I don't think it would keep guys from worrying about getting injured. I don't think it would make guys play harder. So moving on to his next point, and this point is really about the dunk contest. No NBA players in the dunk contest and influencers. So no NBA players in the dunk contest. It's more these influencers that you see all over Instagram and TikTok and YouTube who make a living from being dunkers, and you have the NBA All-Stars be judges. I think this is a great idea. Now, I made a TikTok, and one of the comments proposed this kind of idea, and I agree with it. This would be really, really fun to watch. Are they going to do anything that's new that we've never seen before? No. But it'd just be really fun to watch a bunch of influencers dunk on the NBA stage and watch NBA players react to it. I think that'd be really, really cool, really fun. So I am all for this idea. Now, another idea, expand the rosters, which has been talked about. The roster format was made at a time that there was less teams, less great players. So expanding the rosters, I wouldn't be too mad at. I feel like it'd be a bit of a participation trophy kind of thing, but we won't get much into that. And have a 1v1 tournament. I think the 1v1 tournament is interesting. The problem is I think to have a solid 1v1 tournament, it's got to be the most of 2 days probably, especially like the final part of it. So I don't know logistically how a 1v1 tournament would work, but I think it'd be an interesting thing. And the last point that he brought up, the last idea that he had was ban the losers from competing next year. I don't know about that because like the East completely dominated the West this season, and now you wouldn't have guys like LeBron James or Kevin Durant, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic. You wouldn't have those guys compete. Stephen Curry. You wouldn't have any of those guys competing next year, and that's just going to lead to the East beating a team even worse than they already did this season, right? And like, yeah, it'd make the guys play harder, maybe, because now they already see it as a rest. So now if they know, oh, if we get beat, we won't have to play next year. And this entire weekend, we can just be at home rehabbing. I think you're overlooking that. It's just, it's not a good idea all around because I don't think it fixes the competitive nature of the guys. And it will just lead to the one conference running the entire thing over and over and over again, and everybody already hates that. Now, what do you do to fix the All-Star game? In my opinion, nothing. Nothing. Everybody's going to watch it anyway and bitch about it. Who cares? It's a break for the guys, and honestly, I enjoy watching the guys just go out there and have fun. Because it's obvious, like LeBron James came on and said that he didn't like that there was no defense being played. But honestly, just watching the guys pull up from half court just to see if they make it, like one of the best videos that gets shared around TikTok a couple times a year is that one where Trae Young was guarding Luka Doncic and Luka just pulled up from half court and made it, and him and Trae Young just laughed and just fell into each other's arms. Like that was, I made that a lot more homoerotic than I meant to make it, but That's a very cool moment, and it's just two guys having fun playing basketball together. I enjoy watching that. I don't think there is a massive need to try to make the NBA All-Star game ultra competitive. You already have a problem with the guys not playing most of the games in the NBA season, so trying to make those same guys care about an All-Star game, I think is pretty pointless. Just let them go out there and have fun. Who cares if it's ultra competitive? Yes, you want to see a good basketball game. We all want to see good basketball, but just understand that the All Star game is supposed to be this arcade like guys just chucking up shots, doing fun stuff on a basketball court, and just having a good time. And that's what it seems like. A lot of the guys just have a good time, not really caring about the game. So that's the podcast. Of course, I will be back on Thursday or Friday with another one. Maybe talk some wrestling, talk whatever other stories I can pull from the sports world. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Jackie's got a sports show. You just tuned into that sports show. Follow me on the socials at JJester615, at Jackie Show on Twitter. That is two S's, one little S, one big S. Follow me on TikTok. I'll try to go live a lot more, try to post 4 or 5 times a day, on a little bit of a slouch right now, but trying to get back to posting 4 or 5 times a day. And then email me questions, comments, concerns, whatever you want to do, especially some questions. Tell me about your day, whatever you want to do. Old JackieBoy1021 at gmail.com. That is OLE JackieBoy1021 at gmail.com. I love you. I appreciate you. As always, make sure you like, rate, and share, especially rating, especially sharing. I'll see you all on Friday. Take care.